assault upon a John Zeidema with a dangerous weapon, namely a stick and or rod, but without intending to commit the crime of murder or to inflict great bodily harm less than the crime of murder. And count 2, that you made an assault upon a Todd DeVries with a dangerous weapon, namely a stick and or rod, but without intending to commit the crime of murder. Those 2 counts are punishable by up to 4 years in prison and a fine up to $2,000 plus court costs. In count 3, you are charged with resisting and obstructing a police officer. Mr. Wabindato, you may stand if you wish.
I asked to have a lawyer anyway.
Well, I'll tell you who your lawyer will be if you come back up here and just stand here for a moment.
He's not cooperating with this process, Your Honor.
All right, you can hear me in that room, correct, Deputy?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right, if you can't hear me, please interrupt me, okay? I'd like you to keep him in the room right there. In count 3, you're charged with resisting and obstructing a police officer, Officer Todd DeVries. That's punishable up to 2 years and a fine up to $2,000. And in count 4, you are charged with malicious destruction of property over $1,000 but less than $20,000. Says he did willfully or maliciously destroy or injure a television, chair, and picture, the personal property of St. Patrick Church. That's a felony punishable by up to 5 years in prison and a fine up to $10,000. With regard to these charges, you have the right to remain silent and not have that used against you, the right to have a trial from a judge or jury, to have a lawyer represent you. If you cannot afford one, I will appoint one to represent you. You have the right to see, hear, and question the witnesses called against you, to be a witness yourself, or, as I said, remain silent and not have that used against you. You have the right to call witnesses on your own behalf. You'll have the right to be presumed innocent until and unless the prosecution is able to prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. Now, in addition to those trial rights, you have the right to have a probable cause conference to be held not earlier than 7 days from today's date, and a preliminary examination to take place not later than 7 days after that. I'll go ahead and schedule this for a probable cause conference that will take place on January 8th at 8:15 in the morning. Mr. Wabindato, do you want me to appoint a lawyer for you? All right, I will appoint Mr. Bob Zitta. If at any time you wish to hire your own lawyer, you may certainly do so. In light of these charges, taking into consideration the prior offenses of fleeing and eluding an officer 3rd degree and a home invasion 2nd degree, the lack of any ties that I'm aware of to this community, I'm going to set bond in the amount of $50,000 cash or surety in this matter. There will be requirements on that bond, if posted, that you not use alcohol, possess or use controlled substances, nor be in the presence of people using. Submit to alcohol and drug testing upon request. You are to comply with a curfew of 8 p.m. at night to 7:30 in the morning. That's when you have to present yourself wherever you are residing. You may not engage in any verbal, physical, assaultive, or abusive behavior. Submit to a warrantless search of your person, residence, and vehicle. There must be a community mental health assessment prior to any release.